The screen is black. A woman's voice breaks the silence. Someone is in my backyard. Then suddenly, static. A dog starts barking. A shadow moves across the fence. And the Ring camera recording cuts off forever. Police arrived 12 minutes later. But what they found inside that quiet suburban home would launch one of the most disturbing investigations in recent American true crime history. And for nearly 2 years, authorities refused to release the footage. Why? What was captured on that camera that nobody was supposed to see? Tonight, we examine the chilling mystery behind the Ring camera footage police refused to release for 2 years. It was the summer of 2021. In a peaceful neighborhood outside Houston, Texas, the streets were quiet. Children rode bicycles after school. Families left porch lights glowing through the warm nights. It looked like the kind of place where nothing terrible could ever happen. 34-year-old Melissa Grant lived there with her 8-year-old son, Noah. Neighbors described Melissa as kind, organized, and protective. She worked remotely for a healthcare company and spent most evenings at home. After a difficult divorce 2 years earlier, she had become more private, more cautious. And like many Americans, she installed a Ring security camera outside her front door. At first, it was just for peace of mind. But eventually, that camera became the center of a terrifying mystery. Because on August 14th, at approximately 10:43 p.m., Melissa's Ring camera captured something police would later describe as highly disturbing, something investigators believed could compromise the entire case if released publicly. But that explanation only created more questions. And soon the internet began asking the same thing. What exactly was on that footage? That night started normally. Melissa had ordered takeout around 8 p.m. Neighbors later reported seeing lights on inside the home. Noah was believed to be asleep upstairs. At 10:12 p.m., Melissa texted a friend. "Someone keeps walking past my house." The friend responded jokingly, asking if she was watching too many crime documentaries. Melissa replied with a single message. "No, I'm serious." That would be one of the last texts she ever sent. According to investigators, the Ring camera detected motion several times over the next 30 minutes. At first, nothing appeared unusual. A passing car, a stray cat crossing the driveway, tree branches moving in the wind. Then, at 10:41 p.m., the camera activated again. This time, a figure appeared near the edge of the property. The video was never publicly released, but several details leaked later through court documents and anonymous sources. The figure reportedly stood motionless for nearly 40 seconds, not knocking, not moving, just standing there, watching the house. Then the person slowly walked out of frame. 2 minutes later, Melissa made a 911 call. Her voice sounded panicked. She told dispatchers someone was outside. She claimed she heard movement near the back door. And then, according to transcripts later revealed in court, she whispered something investigators refused to explain publicly. "There are 2 of them." Dispatchers attempted to calm her down. Officers were sent immediately. But before police arrived, the Ring camera activated one final time. What happened next remains one of the most controversial, unreleased pieces of digital evidence in recent true crime history. At 10:47 p.m., neighbors reported hearing screaming. One witness described hearing a loud crash, followed by a child crying. Another neighbor claimed a dark SUV sped away from the street minutes later. When police entered the home, they found Melissa unconscious near the kitchen hallway. She had suffered severe head trauma. Upstairs, Noah was found hiding inside a closet, terrified but alive. Melissa died 2 days later in the hospital without regaining consciousness. And immediately, investigators focused on the missing Ring footage. Not the clips already seen by neighbors through shared alerts. Not the earlier recordings. The final recording, the one captured during the attack itself. Authorities quickly seized the Ring account data and requested Amazon preserve all cloud-stored footage connected to the case. But within days, rumors exploded online. Some claimed the footage showed multiple attackers. Others believed it captured someone Melissa knew personally. One theory spread faster than all the others, that the attacker looked directly into the camera, as if they knew it was recording. The investigation rapidly intensified. Detectives interviewed neighbors, former co-workers, friends, and Melissa's ex-husband, Daniel Grant. Daniel immediately became a person of interest. The divorce between Melissa and Daniel had reportedly been hostile. Court records showed disputes over custody and finances. Neighbors claimed arguments between the two had become increasingly heated in the months before the attack. But Daniel insisted he had nothing to do with it. And there was one major problem. He had an alibi. Phone records placed him nearly 40 miles away at the time of the attack. Security footage from a gas station appeared to support his timeline. Still, investigators weren't convinced, because according to leaked information from the unreleased Ring footage, the attacker may have been wearing clothing connected to Daniel. Police never confirmed this publicly, but internet speculation exploded. Online forums dissected every rumor. YouTube creators built entire channels around the mystery. TikTok videos analyzing the case gained millions of views. People wanted answers, and police refused to provide them. Months passed. Then came the first major twist. Forensic investigators discovered that someone had attempted to remotely access Melissa's Ring account 3 weeks before the attack. The login attempt originated from another state, Arizona. At first, authorities suspected hacking, but deeper investigation revealed something stranger. The device used in the login attempt had previously connected to Daniel Grant's old email account. Years earlier, suddenly the case changed direction again. Was someone stalking Melissa digitally before the attack? Was the Ring camera itself being monitored? Or had someone inside her personal circle been planning this for weeks? Investigators remained silent. But behind the scenes, tension was building. Because Noah, the only surviving witness, began telling therapists disturbing details. According to sealed documents later partially leaked online, Noah claimed he recognized one of the voices inside the house that night. But he never clearly identified the person, at least publicly. And then came another shocking development. Police announced they would not release the Ring footage to the public under any circumstances during the active investigation. That decision immediately triggered backlash. Journalists filed public records requests. True crime bloggers demanded transparency. Online communities accused authorities of hiding evidence, but prosecutors insisted the footage contained sensitive material that could compromise witness testimony and future prosecution. Still, many weren't satisfied with that explanation, because over time, pieces of information continued leaking out, and each leak made the footage sound even more horrifying. One anonymous source claimed the video captured the attacker entering through the back entrance while another individual remained outside acting as lookout. Another claimed the footage recorded a conversation between Melissa and the intruder. But perhaps the most disturbing rumor involved Noah. Several online discussions alleged the child appeared briefly in the footage moments before the camera disconnected. That rumor spread rapidly across social media. Some believed authorities were withholding the video to protect Noah's identity. Others believed the footage was far more graphic than police admitted. The mystery surrounding the recording became larger than the murder itself. And as public fascination grew, investigators faced increasing pressure. Then, nearly 1 year after the attack, another bombshell hit the case. Detectives arrested a man named Victor Hale, 38 years old, former private security contractor. No direct connection to Melissa, at least not publicly. Authorities accused Hale of conspiracy, unlawful surveillance, and accessory to murder. But the details were bizarre. Investigators claimed Hale had experience bypassing residential security systems and monitoring wireless camera networks. Even stranger, they believed Hale may have been hired. The obvious question became, hired by who? Prosecutors refused to answer. During preliminary hearings, fragments of the unreleased Ring footage were finally described in court, not shown publicly, described. And what emerged shocked everyone following the case. According to courtroom testimony, the attacker appeared to know exactly where the camera was positioned. At one point, the individual reportedly approached the front porch slowly, then looked directly into the lens for several seconds, without covering their face, without panic, almost calmly. One investigator later described it as deeply unsettling. Then the footage allegedly captured a second figure moving near a side gate. That confirmed Melissa's terrifying final statement to dispatchers. There are two of them. But the biggest revelation came next. Audio analysts claimed voices heard in the footage suggested the attack may not have gone according to plan. One voice allegedly shouted, "She saw the car!" Another responded, "Just get inside." Suddenly, investigators no longer believed this was random. This looked organized, planned, targeted, and the public demanded the footage be released immediately. But authorities still refused. Why? Because prosecutors claimed the video contained identifiable behavioral evidence only the killers would know. They feared public release could damage future convictions. Yet critics argued the secrecy only fueled conspiracy theories. Some people even believed police themselves were hiding mistakes made during the investigation. Then, in early 2023, almost 2 years after Melissa's death, the case exploded again. A sealed affidavit was accidentally uploaded to a public court server for several hours, long enough for internet users to archive screenshots. And buried inside those documents was one terrifying sentence. The victim appeared to recognize at least one offender before the assault began. Everything changed. This was no random break-in. Melissa may have known the people entering her home. That revelation shifted attention back toward Daniel Grant once again. Investigators re-examined financial records, phone data, deleted messages, and location history. And eventually, prosecutors announced a second arrest. Daniel Grant was charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Authorities alleged he had hired Victor Hale and another unidentified accomplice to intimidate Melissa during an escalating custody dispute. But according to prosecutors, the situation spiraled violently out of control inside the home. Daniel denied everything. His defense team argued the prosecution relied heavily on circumstantial evidence and hidden footage the public still had never seen. And that created an unusual problem. The Ring footage had become both the center of the case and the evidence evidence nobody could fully examine. Finally, in late 2023, nearly 2 years after the attack, a judge approved limited release of portions of the recording during trial proceedings. Journalists inside the courtroom described the atmosphere as chilling. The video reportedly showed dim porch lighting, heavy breathing, a shadow approaching slowly from the driveway, then Melissa opening the front curtain slightly from inside the home, and freezing, as if she instantly recognized someone outside. Seconds later, the footage captured rapid movement near the side of the house. A loud bang, screaming, then chaos. The camera tilted violently before disconnecting. The courtroom reportedly fell silent. Some jurors cried. Others avoided looking at the screen entirely. But one detail disturbed observers more than anything else. Just before the footage ended, a male voice was allegedly heard saying, "She wasn't supposed to be here tonight." That single sentence changed the entire understanding of the crime. Investigators now believed the attackers expected the house to be empty. Melissa's presence disrupted the plan, and what may have started as intimidation became murder. The trial lasted weeks. Prosecutors painted Daniel Grant as a desperate man consumed by anger, custody battles, and financial pressure. The defense argued investigators built their entire narrative around incomplete interpretations of chaotic footage. But ultimately, the jury sided with prosecutors. Victor Hale was convicted of murder, conspiracy, and unlawful surveillance charges. Daniel Grant was convicted of conspiracy to commit murder. The identity of the alleged second accomplice was never fully revealed publicly, and even today, questions remain unanswered. Because despite partial courtroom release, the complete ring footage has never been made public in full. Large sections remain sealed. Authorities insist some portions contain sensitive evidence and material involving Noah, who continues living under protected privacy arrangements. But for many people, the secrecy surrounding the recording remains deeply unsettling, not only because of what it captured, but because of what it revealed about modern life. A small camera designed to protect a family became the silent witness to a killing. Every movement recorded, every sound preserved. The final moments of a woman who sensed danger before anyone else understood it. And perhaps the most frightening part of this story is how ordinary it all looked in the beginning. A quiet neighborhood, a porch light glowing in the dark, motion alerts ignored like every other notification, until one night, they weren't ordinary anymore. Today, millions of homes across America are surrounded by cameras, doorbells watching sidewalks, security systems recording strangers, tiny blinking lights capturing moments people never expect anyone else to see. But in this case, the camera didn't just record evidence. It recorded fear, recognition, and the terrifying realization that the danger outside the house may have already been known to the victim. Maybe that's why the footage haunted investigators for so long. Because sometimes the scariest part of true crime isn't the violence itself. It's the moment someone realizes exactly who is standing at their door and knows it's already too late.